Hello everyone, I'm Dhanya Rajendran. Joining me is Shabir Ahmed. There is big news as far as Tamil Nadu and of course the rest of the country is concerned. The Supreme Court today has said that all six convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case will be released, a premature release for all the convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi case, six of them including Nalini, Murugan, Shantan, Robert Pius and Jaykumar. Five of them are in jail currently, which is all the five men are in jail. Nalini, meanwhile, is on parole. Shabir, what are the first reactions? The Congress has condemned the Supreme Court's release.
Well, that's right. The Congress has condemned it. There are a lot of Congress workers and leaders who are putting out their opinion saying that this is unacceptable. In fact, this was the same kind of reaction that we saw when Perarivalan was also released by the Supreme Court. Once again, they never expected that the Supreme Court will release all six of them who are involved in this case. Remember, for the Congress workers, this is a very emotional issue because it also involves their party leader, and this is something that they have also been saying for quite some time, that what about the people who lost their lives in that bomb blast? There are also several other people, and the family members had also opposed this, and in fact there were protests in this regard where Congress organized the family members who lost their life in that assassination, and they brought all those family members to Chennai. They also met the chief minister. So the Congress is pretty upset with what has happened today. But whereas other political parties like the VCK, in Nam Tamilar Katchi, and CPM and CPI, all of them have welcomed this move by the Supreme Court. And one particular thing that all political parties point out is that the governor cannot take his own time in deciding these petitions or their plea. The governor should have taken a decision, but in this case, the governor did not take a decision, and that has now led to the Supreme Court taking a decision and releasing all seven convicts, including Perarivalan, who was released 6 months ago.
Joining us is DMK Sharavanan. Sharavanan, what is the first reaction of the DMK to the Supreme Court decision?
See, this is a decision which we welcome, because we have been pressing for their release ever since they have been incarcerated for such a long period, only on those humanitarian grounds that they have been incarcerated for so long. In 2014, Selvi J. Jayalalitha sought to release them, but she applied an incorrect law. She tried to release them under the CRPC, whereas at the time our leader Dr. Kalanjan pointed out that they should have invoked Article 161, and that is what now the erstwhile Chief Minister, Mr. Edapadi Palanichami, had done. He invoked 161, and that resolution was sent to the governor, and the governor was happily sitting on them. Yet another important aspect is this, that this is a telling blow to the governor of Tamil Nadu. Let him take a lesson. Let him learn his lessons. Let him learn the constitutional lessons from this judgment and the earlier judgment. And let him not sit on the proposals, sit on the bills passed by the Tamil Nadu government. At least now he should mend his ways. He should stop taking diktats from the RSS handlers. He should listen to the voice of the people of Tamil Nadu. He should listen to what the constitution says. At least now he will redeem some of the respectability he has lost and the credibility he has lost in the eyes of the people of Tamil Nadu.
Your ally, the Congress, is very unhappy with the whole release, and they have condemned it. What do you react to that?
See, Danya, if I am a Congress party worker, even I would feel the same. If my leader has been assassinated, I would never allow the assassinated, whoever is convicted, to walk free. But when we are talking about a humanitarian gesture here, they have completed 30 years, and we are talking, this is entirely legal. That is why the Supreme Court has said, we will release them. If the governor is not releasing, we will release them. Let us not forget the magnanimity of Madam Sonia Gandhi, the magnanimity of Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Madam Priyanka Gandhi. They have showed what forgiveness really means. If not for the intervention of Madam Sonia Gandhi 15 years back, Nalini's death sentence would not have been commuted. So we should take all this into account. And there is precedence for this. Vinayak Godse, he was just Shabir. Vinayak Godse, who was a conspirator in the killing of Mahatma Gandhi, was sent out on same way, sent out the same way after inside the prison for 20 years he was sent out. So it's not as though it is without precedence, and this is legal. We are speaking about just humanitarian considerations and nothing else.
But it's more than humanitarian, right? This also had some political undertone. In fact, it was one of your poll promises. You made this an election issue. So how can you say it's just humanitarian concerns?
See, that's what why this demand for release came, Shabi. The demand has come only because we said that nobody has been inside the prison for so long for such this crime, for the gravity of their crime. So release them. They have been staring at death row for 10 years. What more punishment can you mete out to them? They were not unsure. They were very unsure whether they will live tomorrow or the day after. That is the worst kind of torture you can inflict on any human being. So let them out. That is what. So this has become a political issue. Why we were insistent? Because the governors were taking, this is just not about the release of the convicts. This is about our federal political structure. The governors, they were dancing to the tunes of the BJP and the RSS and taking the constitution for a ride. They were trying to destroy the federal polity. That is why we took this as a political issue, and we promised that if we come to power, we will release them and see what has happened.
Joining us is also Manikam Tagore from the Congress. Sharon, I just want to ask you one more thing. The BJP, I see a lot of BJP people reacting to the DMK and the Congress, etc., especially the DMK saying that when Bilkis Banu's convicts were released, all of you condemned it. What is different now?
Yeah. See, definitely these two crimes can never be compared. Both of them are different. But let them, we are saying, we have pointed out that is on the basis of humanitarian grounds and we stand by it. Let any of the BJP leaders come and say those convicts deserve a release. Let them come and say, let them proclaim that we proudly stood for the release of the Bilkis Bano. All of them are going into hiding. This is, I'm pointing out, this is purely on a humanitarian grounds only because the time, the kind of time they have spent inside, the torture of not knowing whether they will live tomorrow or the day after. So this can never be compared with the Bilkis Bano case because they were never allowed, they were not granted death sentence.
Mr. Manikam Tagore, yeah, the DMK has welcomed the release of the convicts. VCK, CPIM, CPI have all come forward to welcome. What is your reaction to Congress? Mr. Jairam Ramesh's statement I just saw now condemning the release. Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, thank you. Congress Party's view is clear and we condemn it and we feel that it is a very unfortunate and unwanted step by the Supreme Court. And in this case, we have to note one important development today. The central government's tactical support for these terrorists. Central government, there was no union government lawyers present in the court today. And it was where will be the three Sri Lankans who have been released today will go. Among the six, there are three Sri Lankan citizens. They are not even refugees. You have to understand it. They have not got the refugee status. They are Sri Lankan citizens. Where they will go? These are all the questions the union government must have answered, must have raised in the court of law. But the union government, Mr. Narendra Modi, who speaks about national security, speaks about different kind of words in different mics, wherever stages he gets, now got exposed because the government of India has played with the lives of uh, uh, the justice system itself now. And it is a very important thing that the government of India double standard has been exposed today.
But Mr. Tagore, you are limiting your criticism to the BJP, but your ally DMK, even the AIDMK, all are in support of the release of the convicts.
We differ from them. Therefore, only we are a different party. We are not wing of a DMK. We are a different party, and they are a different party. They have a different stand, and we have a different stand. We have been very clear about it.
But the DMK clearly said in their election manifesto that the party will ensure that they will work for the release of all these 7 convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. But you never had a problem, and now the Supreme Court has given a verdict. The Supreme Court has released them. So now you're trying to say it's political, and you're slamming the central government, sir.
Sabir Bhai, this main thing is that I'm speaking about the two, three, four. Let us speak about the four manifestos. One is the DMK manifesto, speaks about the release. ADMK manifesto, which speaks about a release. BJP manifesto, which speaks about against the release. Congress manifesto, which speaks against the release. Therefore, we are against the release. We are very clear in this case. We are not running away from our views. Our view is very clear that they should not be released. The they are the highest court has convicted them, and they can't be now. They will be taken as free birds, and they will be shown to the world that they are innocent people. There have been injustice done to them. That stories will start now. They are terrorists. The court of law from a trial court to the Supreme Court has upheld it. Therefore, we feel that that is our stand, Congress party stand. What the BJP stand now? BJP,
Sharavanan, yeah,
which
so
whose manifesto spoke against this, today kept away from their government advocates kept away from the Supreme Court. What they have to say? That's my question.
Sharon, and what Mr. Manikam Tagore pointed out, because of the release now, there will be this notion that they're innocent also. I, in fact, watched Nalini's interview just now, where she did say that she's innocent in the entire matter. So, would the DMK stop there? You would just be happy about the release, but you would not endorse a statement that they're innocent in any way.
How can they be innocent? The Supreme Court has convicted them. I've told you very clearly that this is just a humanitarian gesture. I was just talking about the kind of cruelty they have undergone. That is the limited foray for the DMK party. When the Supreme Court has convicted them, who can say they are innocent? They have been just released out of their sentence, not out of their convictions. Their convictions will remain. Only their sentence that has been done away with, since they are there for the 30 years, last 30 years.
But
And
there was
what
a criticism against your party, Mr. Saravanan. Last time when
Yeah.
Perarivalan was released, his release was glorified. In fact, the Chief Minister M.K. Stalin met him and he hugged him. All this was a controversy, and
Yeah, see,
people say that the same thing will happen again. And this is what the DMK believes, that they want to
no, no,
glorify
no, no,
people who have
no.
been convicted in this case.
No, no, Shabir. Perarivalan's release or his stance is definitely different from the others. The investigating officer, Mr. Tyagarajan, was in an affidavit stated he wrongly recorded the statement. That statement made all the difference. He says he went and said that he did not know. So that has to be given some credit. So let us not compare Mr. Perarivalan's release with that of the others. He definitely stands on a different footing.
And my last question to Sharvanan is, what
Yes.
happened? Like Mr. Manikam Tagore was pointing out, some of them are Sri Lankan citizens. Now, releasing them does not mean that they can just go about living anywhere. So, what happens to them? Is there a plan?
See, if they are not Indian citizens and they are Sri Lankan citizens, definitely they should be deported to Sri Lanka. If the Sri Lankan government is not willing to take them, then definitely they should be there in the camps for Sri Lankan Tamils or other exclusive camp for them. I think that should be the logical thing to do.
Mr. Manikam Tagore, are you satisfied with the reply that they'll have to be deported or they will have to go to the Sri Lankan camps here?
No, this is not the state government's decision. This is what I am asking you. That may be the DMK stand. But my only query is that this central government's advocates should have presented this case before the honorable judges, Supreme Court judges, because they had run away. The main story in the media is missing is that today the central government advocates were missing in the court of law, in the court hall. That's the main issue, and nobody is able to read that thing because they are not they are these union government advocates or the people who should have raised these issues. These are all technical issues. They will say thing that they will release it, then tomorrow they will say thing that why you are keeping it, they are not having a refugee status. How? Because they are not asked for a asylum here. They are criminals. They came there. They are not one of the part of the refugees in the register of refugees there. So
But
are very
the Supreme
technical
Court,
questions.
but the Supreme Court has clearly said, sir, that the justification for their release has already been given in Perarivalan's judgment. So they have already justified that why they are releasing Perarivalan. Here the question is that the governor took his own sweet time to decide. So that's the point that your own ally DMK is talking about.
Sabirji, the main thing is that Perarivalan's case is on a different footing. On that name, you are releasing 3 Sri Lankan citizens who had been convicted in the court in the land of Indian law, and they are not refugees. I am asking about that only. Who will clarify that thing? Who will get a clarity on that thing? The union government's double standard is now exposed. That only I am trying to tell it. Get a BJP spokesperson, ask them these questions.
And my last question to you, Mr. Tug. Okay, Sharon, you want to say something?
Yeah. See, the important thing that everybody is not highlighting is everybody should celebrate the magnanimity of Madam Sonia Gandhi, the magnanimity of Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Madam Priyanka Gandhi. They have set a shining example of how you should handle forgiveness, how they have healed, moved forward. I think this is the most important lesson or important thing we can take out of this
But
entire
Sharavanan, they
release.
have mostly spoken in the case of Nalini. All the comments from the Gandhi family have been pertaining to Nalini. I don't think it applies to all the convicts.
No,
Just to be,
Mr. Rahul Gandhi has clearly said that he has forgiven them all.
yes, he did. Yes,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Manikam,
yeah.
the
So
DMK also sees it as a victory against the governor, as a federal victory for a state, because the governor had been sitting on the mercy petitions and different petitions for a long time. So, are you not viewing in that way at all?
Our view is an emotional view here. You have to understand it. As Congress workers, we view this in a emotional view. What the Gandhis thinks about is about their magnanimity is different. For us, it is an emotional part. You have to understand it as a Congress worker. When I joined, I had a different view on these things. In the 89, when I met Rajiv Gandhi, when he was in 88 in tour to India, in Tamil Nadu, it was a different story. Therefore, it is a different story for us as Congress workers. It is this government, particularly the central government's double standard, is an important point. We should not forget about it. And this case, particularly about the six, Perarivalan's case is a completely different case because Perarivalan's case was involved on many of his health issues, on all other issues were involved in it, and therefore the public opinion as well as the technical part helped him to get away with it. But these six people are completely different story. Therefore, this can't be mixed with that one man called Perarivalan.
Mr. Manikam Thakur, you said that the central government did not handle this case properly. But in your opinion, what do you think that the government should have done in this case?
What they had started in the beginning, they should have continued with that. They had, from the beginning in the court of law, in Supreme Court, they had opposed it on different grounds, on national security, on all other issues, security issues and others. And because it will become a example case for all other convicts to be released, all these kind of grounds they had kept it. Now, why they had changed it? Why they had run away? When those Sri Lankan men will be released by this order of the Supreme Court, they know that there are three Sri Lankan convicts there, citizens here involved in it. Why the central government, which speaks about the national security as the biggest issue for them, as the top had they wears it as in their badges, that national security is the topmost thing for them as priority. Why their advocates run away from the Supreme Court today? That's my query.
Okay, thank you very much,
thank
Sharon
you,
and
Thank
Mr.
you.
thank
Manikam
you.
Tagore, for telling us the views of both your parties. An interesting development really coming from the Supreme Court. Can't say quite unexpected, quite expected, in fact. And Perarivalan himself had worked on these affidavits and petitions which were filed by the other convicts, and his case became a stepping stone to the release of the other six convicts. We will keep joining you with more updates on this. Thank you, Sharon, and thank you, Mr.
Thank
Manikam.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shabir, so we will be joined by Pera Rivalan in some time. He has told us that he will speak to us in half an hour's time. He actually was instrumental in filing all these petitions. And in fact, his case became, like I said, the stepping stone for this release. So we will join back with Pera Rivalan. You have anything to say before we close?
Well, the point that the DMK is trying to make is the governor's decision or indecision in this particular matter is something that they have been talking about. In fact, that has been the point of discussion for all political parties. Even as we speak, RS Bharati and Wilson are holding a press conference for another issue. But definitely these questions will be asked, and it will be interesting to see what the DMK lawyers will have to say as far as the role of governor in this entire matter.
That's it from us. Thank you very much.